Hello, everybody. Hey, and welcome back to another edition of Courtside with Christy and Gabe on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. I am Christy Winters-Scott, joined as always by my guy, Gabe Ibrahim. And Gabe, my goodness, let me tell you something. Sitting courtside with you, talking about all the things that have gone on in women's basketball over the last week. And we always say this, but I'm telling you, it is incrementally exciting every single time because there's always something happening that just spins the world around. And I just love it.
No, yeah. And I do want to say though, it was slightly less news. I want to be real with our audience. You know, we always come on here, we say, we got so much news. It was so crazy. It was slightly less news. However, we still had one of the best players in WNBA switch teams. Allegedly, that hasn't officially happened yet with Liz Cambage. Not that, and I'm going to save my opinions on that I'm doing a podcast with Jackie Powell. But
yeah,
we had that. We had Easy Fudd's breakout game. We had Caitlin Clark doing Caitlin Clark things.
I mean,
it's like, yes, I think this week for me was a little less news, but we still had a ton. And you're right. I think the college basketball season, especially, is progressing. Like it's it's picking up speed. It's picking up momentum. And you should that's why you should follow at Her Hoop Stats. Go to herhoopstats.com, herhoopstats.substack.com for our newsletter where we're breaking down all of college basketball, WNBA, anything that's happening in women's basketball. We talk about it. And then you can follow us on Twitter. Our names just popped up below us. And we're going to do the thing too, where we split this up into 2 YouTube episodes, but 1 podcast. Sounds great. There's chapters, by the way, on like the bar below us or in the podcast description. With that being said, let's move over to the WNBA. As I mentioned at the top, I'm going to try to keep my opinions on Liz Cambage for my podcast with Jackie Powell for Friday. But we obviously need to get some reaction. So Christy, your thoughts on Liz Cambage going to LA? Also, Jordan Canada's going to LA and Katie Lou Samerson's going to LA. So reaction to what the Sparks did.
If I were to sip this coffee and spit it out, that would be that was my initial reaction when I saw Cambage to LA. Oh boy. And then I had to double check sources and, on social. I was like, wait, is that true? Wait, is that someone hoping that happens? Or is that actually happening? And boy, I mean, it's actually happening. So that freaked me out. I did not see that coming at all. I thought she was going to stay with the Aces and with Asia Wilson. I thought they were a good dynamic duo. So for me, I don't know, it was quite shocking. I don't know if there's another word. I was surprised at that, and I'm not mad at it, but I was surprised. I mean, that's what she wants to do. I think she fits in LA too with all of her DJing and her personality and all the other things she's doing. But Vegas isn't bad for that either. So I don't know. It's not like she's, I think it's a lateral move in that way in terms of marketing.
Oh, LA, no, come on, we have to give LA credit. You went to LA.
I was just in LA.
Did you feel like a star?
I did, and then I came back home. I was like, "Man, what's going on? What happened to all the? Where's the chauffeur taking my bag in the house? Like, what is happening?" But yeah, I was spoiled out there in LA, and the palm trees and the 70-degree weather. Yeah,
it ain't bad.
So yeah,
I go to LA. I'm just like I feel like I'm in a movie, obviously, because it is where all the movies are made. But I don't know. I feel like I'm like every time I go to LA, I'm like, ooh, I feel like Don Draper in Mad Men. Like when Don goes to LA, he's like a completely different person. And when I'm in LA, I'm just like a completely different person. I don't know if that person's better or worse, but I am completely different. But
I was definitely different for the 48 hours I was there, or less, probably 40 hours I was there. It was different for me for sure.
I'm really excited though for the Liz, the star in LA. Liz, the basketball player in LA, is going to be more of an interesting idea that I have to get my head wrapped around a little bit more. But it's going to be fun. I think without a doubt it will 100% be fun. And we're going to enjoy it as fans, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, we will see.
So let's bring us though from the La La Land back to reality here in DC.
Darn it. Okay.
The contagious Caldwell Pope of going from LA to DC.
Okay, here we go.
Also I just want to take a brief second. I know we're talking WNBA, but shouts to all my Heat fans here in the suburb of Miami called Washington DC, because we took over the Wizards game. We were so hyped. We were yelling.
I was gonna say probably. I knew you were there without knowing for sure that you were there, but I knew you were there.
I started so many "Let's Go Heat" chants, and we were talking. We were kind, but it did get a little heated. So shouts to all my Heat fans in DC, if you guys are listening. I want to talk about the Mystics though, because I want to get really deep into it. I don't think we've gone quite deep into the Mystics yet. So they obviously have changed this team substantially. Tina Charles is off to Phoenix, which crazy. And we'll definitely talk about that again.
Dang.
But Tina Charles is off to Phoenix. They bring in Elizabeth Williams. We talked a little bit about the fit with Elizabeth Williams, but the more I think about it, I'm just kind of wondering, like, do you think their finishing lineup? Because remember, your finishing lineup is much more important than your starting lineup. True. And while I know there's going to be matchups and all that, in general, do you think the finishing lineup for this team includes Elizabeth Williams, or do the Mystics kind of go, I'm putting in quotes, small-ish with Elena Delle Donne at the 5, Maisha Hines-Allen at the 4? No,
this is just my personal opinion without knowing, strategy from Mike Thibault. I just think, to have a rim protector in and a rebounder in at the end of games is vitally important. So if I'm coaching, which I am not, but if I am, I would like to have, and it also depends on matchups and who you're playing. However, I would feel a lot more comfortable defensively and rebounding wise, which is kind of one and the same, having Elizabeth Williams on the floor. Offensively, she said, I'm known as a defensive rebounding kind of player, block shots kind of player. But I came to DC because I want to test what I can do offensively. So I think that right there solidifies it for me, because we already know what she's going to bring defensively, right? We already know what she's going to bring on the glass. So let's see what she does on offense too. Can she be a key piece on that side of the court for the Mystics? And the fact that she wants to do that, and the fact that we've seen her evolve over her career, from Duke now here, I think it's something to definitely take a look at. But I would have her on the floor at the end of the game. But I think they need to go big at the end, just to solidify their defense and just to solidify the glass.
Yeah, I agree. And I think to a certain extent, this also depends on Maisha Hines-Allen's development. She's obviously been a key piece to this team for a long time, but or at least for the last 2 years. But she, I think last year she didn't quite make that next step that we saw. That we saw as potential. She was injured. She came to camp late. I think it was a weird season in a ton of regards. Her role kept changing. So with a little bit more stability, if she develops into the player that we see, the potential that we see, it's going to be really hard to keep her off the court. And then you're going to have to, change your mechanics around. And, if her shooting continues like this, they can run that true 5-out system, Natasha Cloud, Errol Atkins, Alicia Clark, Maisha Hines-Allen, Elena Delle Donne. That's an incredible 5 in terms of.
I was going to say, I like that list.
Offense. In terms of offense, that's an incredible 5. But with the addition, though, of Elizabeth Williams, I want to know if you agree with this. This is the most defensive talent that the Mystics have had in the Elena Delle Donne era. You have Natasha Cloud, Alicia Clark, Errol Atkins, Elizabeth Williams. All 4 players have made an all-defense team.
Yep.
And then you have Maisha Hines-Allen, who, in my opinion, is no slouch on that end. Right. I think for this team, the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year was because of their defense.
Yeah.
With a healthy Alicia Clark and with Elizabeth Williams, I think they can get up to their highest defensive rating in the Elena Delle Donne era. Do you think that's true, or am I being a little too optimistic?
Oh no, I'm 1,000% in agreement with that, because I mean, Mike Tebow even alluded to that, saying that, you know, they have 4 players who are made all defensive teams.
Mhm.
And he said that, you know, maybe that'll motivate everybody else on the team, you know what I mean, to be that, you know, tactically sound on the defensive end. And I think there's something to be said for that, because when you're around players who are focused and digging in and communicative on the defensive end, it rubs off.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, you know, you can score it, but wow, if you can get into those passing lanes, and I just envision Ariel Atkins and Alicia Clark, you know, getting in the passing lanes and going the other way. And I see Elizabeth Williams blocking shots and protecting the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is a good kind of challenge for the other players who haven't yet made a defensive team, you know, an all defensive team, but to be around that kind of culture on that side of the ball, I think it's going to be great. And I think Elena Delle Donne kind of alluded to the fact that we have a lot of great young players, but also a lot of great experienced players on the floor. And I think when you have experience, I mean, defense to me is something that you're most comfortable with, especially in the WNBA, when your learning curve is different, you know, illegal defense. Like, you have to make sure you're where you need to be.
Yeah.
And you're talking because it's fast, and there's a lot of ball screen actions, a lot of pin down stuff that you need to be in the right place to cover. So I just think that, you know, when you're around people who know where to be and when to be at certain places, especially on the defensive end, I think it just makes it easier to be cohesive. And then I think it's going to pay off on the other side for them as well.
Well, and the other thing is that with this defense, not only are they talented, you know, Alicia Clark, one of the best defenders in this league in basketball, period. They are also really good communicators, and that's what you need with defense. Like, that is, you can have someone who's maybe not as quick, maybe someone who's not, you know, the sort of rim protector. And I'm talking about Elena Delle Donne. Let's be real. The weak link here on this awesome defense would be Elena Delle Donne, but she's an excellent communicator. Like, she doesn't she understands the game so well that even with some of her physical limitations, and we'll see what you know, what those are if she's healthy this year. Right. She's still can be a part of a plus defense because of the way she communicates. And I think that's going to be a big part of why this team is so good, because they have so much communication. They have so much veteran talent that they can really put together a strong defense. They have not been above average in defense since 2015. Wow. So I think this year could be, and hopefully will be, the year that they, you know, break through and have an above average defense. And with the offensive talent that we just talked about, I think this is a team that could be scary. However, though, I think we got to talk about this, because it's not fun. We have to kind of think about this team with Elena Delle Donne, as we have been, and without Elena Delle Donne, just in case, because you don't know what her back situation is going to be during the season. She seems healthy. She worked out with Team USA. Yeah. She's definitively said that she will be ready for the season, which did not happen last year. No. She was more wishy-washy about last season. So this year she's saying she's going to be ready. She feels great. Yeah. But considering the history, where do you think this team is without Elena Delle Donne? Are they still in the playoff mix? I think so. I think they have enough. And I think what we were just talking about, the defense will carry them over the finish line to get to the playoffs. Obviously, with Delle Donne, a given. Without her, it'll be tougher, obviously. But I think they could still make it there because they're going to get the stops necessary to get the offense generated that they need. So I'm just really hoping and praying that Elena Delle Donne stays healthy all season long. And if she needs, you know, on a back-to-back night, and no pun, but if on a back-to-back game situation, schedule-wise, if she needs to take that second game off, I'm good with that. You know, whatever it takes to preserve her health, I am here to cheer that on, and just want her to be able to sustain her great level of play. And the fact that she is just, I mean, she exudes joy when she was talking about, I've been pain-free for months. Yes.
And I'm like, and you can see it resonated in her face that she has, put herself through the rigors and gone through some contact drills and all that for an hour and a half. And afterwards, she's saying that the recovery is a lot better. Like, I don't have pain after I do a really strenuous workout. So hopefully she'll be able to sustain that throughout the season. And, she'll continue to say, I've been months pain-free as the season starts too. So it remains to be seen, but I'm very optimistic, pun intended, about Elena Delle Donne.
Well, the discourse around her and this team is different this year than last year. Certainly, as I mentioned, like, she's much more confident in her health this year, and she's much more confident in her health. I think we have reason to be, but I don't want to get I don't want to get like my hopes up for me and for her, because then I want her to be healthy and happy first and foremost, and I want her to be playing basketball, but she has a life. So I'm hoping, and I'm with you, sending so many good vibes that she's healthy. Man. But if she's not, I'm with you. I think they can still compete for a playoff spot. I'm not sure I wouldn't put them in the title contender category, but especially if the number one pick comes in, whoever that is, and can contribute immediately.
Right.
This team's really strong. This team's really, really strong. So I think they can still compete for a playoff spot. I'm not necessarily sure I picked them, and I'm not necessarily sure, they may want that to be in the lottery at that point. But I think if this number one pick comes in and that person can really contribute, then of course, even with Elena Delle Donne, this team can compete for a playoff spot. I think with Elena Delle Donne, I don't think I put them in the top tier of WNBA, but they're lurking. They're lurking. You got a lot of players with a lot of championship experience that are ready to go, and a team that makes a lot of sense together. Of the teams that have reshaped themselves, Washington has an argument for being the one that fits the best together.
Yeah, so I agree.
I'm hopeful that Elena Delle Donne will play, and that even if she does have some injury problems, or in just the games that she misses, they'll be able to stay afloat. I think that would be huge for them, and that's in large part due to Elizabeth Williams. So I do want to mention something that's not as much fun, just to let our folks know that the Mystics will have to go likely with 11 players this year. So in training camp, there's going to be some cuts of some folks that we all know. They'll likely have to cut either Erica McCall or Sydney Weiss to have a legal roster. Sydney Weiss would probably have to go if they wanted to keep both Tiana Hawkins and Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, plus a player on a 0 to 2 year minimum, because that's cheaper. If they decide to go with 2 players in the lower minimum and one of Shatori Walker-Kimbrough and Tiana Hawkins, then they can cut Erica McCall. That's just salary stuff. I can get more into it on Twitter.
Wow.
But that's just a situation.
Okay.
That's just a situation is that one of those players is going to probably get squeezed here. And we also are still waiting on the mystery move that was teased.
I know.
Our Twitter sleuths have kind of thought that it's Rui Machida, the Japanese point guard. Because she fits into that little silhouette that they posted on Twitter.
I know, I've been trying to figure out the silhouette, and it's really hard.
I think the people on Twitter seem to think it's her. But yeah, I just wanted to say, like, if someone is getting cut here on this roster, I personally hope that Tiana Hawkins and Shatori Walker-Kimbrough are back, because then we get to see the bands back together. And I think they'll fit. I think they'll fit.
Yeah. I like it. And who knows who that silhouette person is, but if it is her, say her name again.
Rui Machida.
Rui Machida. She will make a big difference, because if that's who it is, isn't she like a 3-point dynamo?
She's
like
awesome.
Just come on, man. Like, I'm good. Bring her over here.
she's let it
fly.
Leilani Mitchell does not appear to be coming back. I think actually Leilani's pregnant, or she's given, I'm not sure. I saw that somewhere that she was pregnant and that she signed up to coach in Australia this year. So congratulations to her. But it appears that she will not be back, and that opens the door for Rui Machida, who happens to play a lot like Leilani Mitchell.
Okay. I did not know about Leilani. Oh, Leilani. Congratulations.
Yeah, right. It's I think it's her second kid.
Yes. Cash is her son. Yeah.
Yes. Cash.
Oh, Cash.
But I mean, I'd love this. It'd be amazing. I don't have any reporting to suggest that this is true yet.
Okay.
If it is, though, it's really fun.
However.
You guys should go back and look at what she did in the Olympics last year. She had 18 assists against France in that semifinal game, which was a banger. So go back and watch her and get a little excited, because that'd be super fun.
That would.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do think McCall, I don't think, looking at the numbers, McCall or Weiss are going to have to go. I don't know who would I keep out of those two with this roster.
That's tough. I hate the business of basketball, right? It's like, just keep them both and let's just play. But unfortunately, can't do it.
To the salary, it's a salary cap.
Business.
The cap is what it is, and they have to deal with it. But I don't know. They don't have a lot of wing. Oh, they do have a lot of. I don't know. Wait, do they need a wing more or a big more?
I think they need a big more.
I think they need a big more. Erica brought a lot.
She did,
on not just when she was playing, but also on the bench in terms of her chemistry,
energy. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision, because that's just tough, because they both obviously deserve to be in the league and on this team. But, contractually speaking, you have to make tough choices and decisions. So I don't know.
I don't know for them. But regardless, I think this is a exciting Mystics team that we're going to see on the floor, especially if Elena Delle Donne's healthy, and especially with the number one pick, which we got to get in at some point, maybe next month when WNBA free agency comes down. We'll get into exactly who we think of this, because I've already given we kind of got into it, but I want to get into it a little bit. I want to get into it a little bit more. Okay, do you want to talk about Team USA?
Yes, because they are here in DC, number one, and I know my daughter Brianna Scott is over at Georgetown, and I know they've been working out at McDonough Arena. Oh, so they're not allowed to go in, but they've seen the players. And I know Kelsey Plum and the assistant coach for Georgetown, Sugar Rogers, are very close, because Sugar was assistant with the Aces in the WNBA. And she said some really, really great things. Look it up on Twitter. It's really sweet. And Sugar signed off on it and said Sugar Plum. So I guess Kelsey calls Sugar Plum. And I thought that was the best. But she said that how Sugar has totally impacted her life in a positive way. And I can co-sign that for Bree, because that's who she works out with her individual workouts and stuff like that. And she's always so encouraging and really a great piece to the puzzle for Georgetown. So all the things that Kelsey was saying, I was like, I hear that every day from Brianna. And so with USA basketball being right here in DC, I think they play Belgium on Saturday at 4:30 at ESA. Am I right? They play an exhibition game. Yeah.
It's a real game.
Oh, it's not exhibition. Okay.
Let me get the schedule up. But these are the World Cup qualifiers.
Okay, so it's.
Although I was kind of like under the impression that the US qualified because they.
That's why I thought it was like an exhibition game, like we're just getting some games in, but it's qualifiers. Okay.
We're in the qualifying tournament. I thought we qualified. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. My grasp on international basketball is not like the best. So I will get a better answer for you. However, here's the schedule. I'm looking at it. So we got Belgium, Puerto Rico tomorrow. Right. I'll be heading to that one. And then, the biggie on Friday, USA, Belgium, 6:30.
Okay. And what's Saturday? Saturday is something. There's a game Saturday.
USA, Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. I knew that was one on Saturday.
And then get this. I want to talk about Team USA's roster, but get this. So Russia was supposed to come to DC, but they have a different vaccine. I don't know if they don't have a vaccine. I didn't get exactly what was happening, but I think they had took a different vaccine that was not like permitted for entry into the United States. So Russia is playing Puerto Rico and Belgium in the Dominican Republic as part of this DC, like part of the qualifiers. So it's listed here on the website as Washington, like the locations first listed, Washington, DC, but then it says at Dominican Republic because Russia cannot enter the country.
Oh boy.
So now Belgium has to come here.
What difference does it make? Right, but how big of a difference? And I'm not angry. I'm just wondering.
I have no idea what's happening. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, like, how does that happen? They go to the Dominican Republic and play the same teams that play teams here in the United States without.
Oh no, afterwards.
Oh, after. Okay.
So, yeah,
I was
Belgium,
like, wait, is it during the same?
Yeah. So Belgium's coming here.
I get it. Okay.
They're playing here on Friday.
Got it.
And they're flying to Dominican Republic to play on Sunday. So we're having Russia, Belgium in the Dominican Republic.
I get it now. Okay. Because I was like, wow, why are they doing that if they're going to come back and play the same teams they're going to have interactions with? I don't know. This virus is, it's complicated.
The whole thing is, you guys know. I don't know how to take us. Let's talk about this Team USA roster, though. I think everyone who made it, the players who didn't make it, they didn't make it because they were injured, or coming off an injury. So Elena Delle Donne, Benaj Delaney. I don't have the full list of everyone who showed up to camp, but pretty much everyone who showed up to camp and is not playing is coming off an injury, and that's why they're not playing.
Right.
The roster, as you might imagine, though, is still pretty awesome. So I'm gonna list out the experienced players. We have Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Plum, as you mentioned, Ariel Atkins, DC Zone, Steph Dolson, Alicia Gray, and Chelsea Gray. Those are all players that have been with Team USA and played with Team USA in the last Olympics or on the 3-on-3 team. We have the entire 3-on-3 team back. And then we have some newcomers, Natasha Howard, who is super pumped up on Twitter. I know most of you guys can't follow her on Twitter because your tweets are protected. But Natasha Howard was pumped up about being on Team USA. Brianna Jones, Kayla McBride, Kelsey Mitchell, Dearica Hamby, and Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas finally on this team.
Finally. Yes, please.
So do you want to pick a starting lineup?
What? Me?
I can go first.
You go first, man, because it's a lot. I'm like calculating too many things.
So here's what I got. So Chelsea Gray has to be a starter at point guard. No offense to anybody else.
Yeah.
I think Jewel Lloyd has to start at the 2. No offense to Kelsey Plum. Then at the 3, there's so many options that it gets a little complicated.
Okay.
I'm stuck here, and I could use your help between Ariel Atkins and Kayla McBride. I mean, I know we obviously
I'm going with Ariel Atkins. I'm going with the AA. And it's because of her defensive energy too. You know what I mean? I think, and her consistency. Mm-hmm. And all things aside, even if she didn't play here in DC, I would say that, just her skill set and her speed and energy on the defensive end, and the fact that she can stroke the 3. And not that Kayla McBride can't. That's a thing. But I think she's more consistent, most consistent with her shooting. And I don't know what her hoop stats says about the consistency of that stat for those two, but that's just from, putting my eyes on both of them and just thinking it through just here on a knee-jerk reaction. But I think Ariel Atkins maybe earns that 3 spot. Yeah.
I think so. Okay. I don't know though. I mean, because Kayla McBride brings a lot of the same things you're saying. And she's obviously a great player. Atkins may have the edge in terms of experience with Team USA. I mean, I think you have to throw Alicia Gray into this mix as well, just because she brings a little bit more length than either of them.
True.
I don't know. Let's go Ariel Atkins. Home.
Yeah.
She's at home. Let her be in the starting. At the 4, this is a very difficult decision.
This is bad.
But I don't know. I think you got to go with Alyssa Thomas. I don't see how you don't.
No, she's a machine.
No shade. Well, it's also the issue here is so there's Alyssa Thomas.
Right.
And I'd say the next best player on this team, Natasha Howard and Alyssa Thomas are kind of neck and neck, and they would both probably ideally play the 4.
Right.
But I don't think, I think you have to put Thomas in the starting lineup because she's just a little bit better. She brings something that the other players don't bring. So I want to get her on the floor a little bit more. And I probably shift Natasha Howard to the 5. But I have a slash line here just because Steph Dolson works so well in these situations, you know, where there's a bunch of star players and she kind of has to just be the passer, the screener, the rebounder, do the dirty work. She works so well in that position. Not that Natasha Howard doesn't, obviously, but I think you have to give her a little bit of credit here, enough to say that she's really the only, her and Brianna Jones are the two true centers.
Right.
I think I would go Natasha Howard over both of them, but I think Dolson definitely deserves a little bit of consideration there.
Yeah, I agree. I like Natasha Howard and, you know, what she was able to do on the interior in particular. I mean, she is such a striker from the high post area in terms of driving and finishing.
Yeah.
They need that. And defensively, they need that too. And what she's able to do on the glass. So I like that. And to put her alongside Alyssa Thomas, I mean, that to me is a combustible situation in the paint for anyone who they play. They're going to be so disruptive. And then Ariel Atkins in the gaps. And then you said Jewel Lloyd and, oh my God, Chelsea Gray. I mean, I'm just salivating right now thinking of what they're all going to look like on the floor. But thank you for walking me through that, process of choosing. But I think those five would be so dynamic together. I think that makes it a great group.
I'm going to look at Belgium's roster really quick. Just 'cause I want to see it. I want to see what the roster is for this World Cup qualifying, if I can find it.
I'm sure Chicago Sky's Emma Meesseman is on there.
I'm sure. Well, I don't know if Julia Alamond is playing for them right now. I can't find the roster, guys. Come on. I need a little bit of help. Internet. You're killing me. You're killing me. You're only showing me the 2020. Okay. We'll have to talk about Belgium, USA after the fact. But that's gonna be an awesome game. You got Emma Meesseman. I think Julia Alamond might be there. They have a great commitment to their national team, the Belgians do. Yes. And it's going to be a really interesting game because this USA team's awesome, but that Belgian team has a lot of time together. Yeah. And this is not, there's some players missing here on the USA that could open the door for Belgium to win. Again,
very true. Anyone
out there that knows what this tournament actually means, because I was under the impression that we made the World Cup by virtue of winning the World Cup.
To qualify already.
But if someone can explain that to me, maybe I'm completely wrong, folks. So don't.
And me too. And me. Explain it to me too.
I'm glad we're saying this at the end of the podcast. Don't listen to us on this one.
Yeah.
All right, Christy. That's all I got. We're getting out of here a little bit early. Only an hour and 12 minutes. Look at us.
That's brief for us. That is very brief for us. But before we go, I have to give a shout out to Playa Society.
All right.
Support your Black-owned businesses, people. I did. This wasn't a freebie. I supported it. It was Black History Month. Black women run it. And Playa Society. Oh, and I have the pants too. Wait, this is on YouTube, right?
Yes, it's on YouTube. Ooh, I love those pants
too. And it's comfortable. And I'm not being, a paid, advertiser or sponsor, but it's nice and thick, like seriously. And the sleeves are long enough. I have super long arms. The sleeves are down and it's like crazy thick and warm and cozy. It's really good. So Playa Society, go on their IG.
I thought it was because I'm Cuban and from Miami. I thought it was Playa Society.
Well, I mean, it very well could be, but Playa.
No, there's not a beach. There's not a beach. It's Playa. I call it Playa because I've lived in Miami for too long. Playa Society. If you would like to sponsor Courtside, though, simply hit us up. Simply hit us up. We love your stuff.
I could give a set to Bree or something. I already have this one, but I can give her if another one comes along. Push that on.
Two wonderful models. I have a camera. I could take pictures. I'm not necessarily a model type.
We can do it.
We can do it, guys. So let us know. Playa Society / Playa Society, or anyone who wants to send us stuff, we will wear it, and
we will wear
relentlessly plug it. Okay.
Absolutely. But you know what? They're cutting these lights out on us again, Gabe. My God, what another great episode of Courtside with Christy and Gabe right here on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. We will check you out next time. For Gabe Ibrahim, I am Christy Winters-Scott. See you next time.
Jesus.